Adam here with the Walsder Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is compare a couple of Hyundai models. Now on the one side we have the Tucson, and on the other side we have the Santa Fe. So we'll look at the interiors, the exteriors, some of the trim level specifics, and see which one might just be perfect for you. Let's begin by looking at the 2024 Hyundai Tucson. Now this is the SEL trim level, which is kind of a mid-tier trim level, and this one also has the convenience package added in. So most of that good stuff is going to be on the inside, but it does upgrade to the 19-inch wheels that are more commonly found on the limited models. Now what's cool about the Hyundai Tucson, this is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic. So what does that mean in terms of real-world fuel economy? You're looking at about 29 miles per gallon on the highway. Now this is the H-Track, so that's going to be Hyundai's all-wheel drive system. There is an option for a front-wheel drive as well. There is a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid version of the Tucson, but this one will keep the price down a little bit and still does return pretty great fuel economy back. Now you're going to be looking at about 25 mpg combined, which is pretty good for a crossover SUV. Now maybe the confusion starts between what is the Santa Fe or the Tucson offering. The biggest difference between the two is that Santa Fe is now going to come with the third row standard. So this one is just going to be the 5-passenger vehicle, so that would be the biggest difference between the two. So what's cool about this Hyundai Tucson, I love the design up front. It's got that really cool LED grille, so it's almost like the whole grille lights up at night, and you're gonna have LED daytime running lights as well, which look really good. Plus, out back, that convenience package does add the LED taillights. Now this one does get the LED blinkers in the side mirrors, which do house the blind spot monitoring, and this one will also get the roof rack rails up above. So if you got the kayaks, the mountain bikes, you can throw those up there, and it does make it very convenient. Now this one will also get a power liftgate in the back. So if you're hauling anything, it's a fold down seat. There's a little handle back there you can pull, kick down one side or the other, and it makes it very convenient for hauling stuff around if you're not bringing people with you. But before we get too much on the inside of this one, let's jump over, we'll check out that Santa Fe. So this is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe in the SEL trim. So very similar to the Tucson, but this is a 2.5T. So that means this is the turbocharged engine. This one is also going to get paired to an 8-speed automatic, and you're looking at about 28 miles per gallon on the highway and about 23 combined. So about 2 less combined, but only 1 less on the highway for a vehicle that is a little bit larger. Now this one also is the H-Track, so that's going to be the all-wheel drive on this particular one we have here today, which does take fuel economy down a little bit, but that sure-footedness and bite will certainly help you out in those Minnesota winters. Now, this one is the newest vehicle in the Hyundai lineup, and I love the way it looks. There's kind of that H design that runs through the vehicle. It's kind of a motif found throughout, whether it's the headlights, the taillights, inside. There's lots of really cool stuff kind of coming back to that H pattern, which does work really well on this vehicle. There is a full LED front bar that runs across with those LED H design headlights, and you'll also notice there's little active shutters up front to help you cool and get the best possible fuel economy. Now this particular one also does get parking sensors, so it will help you out if parking is a little bit more difficult for you, but that is certainly something you can add to the Tucson as you work your way up through the lineup. Now this particular one gets the 18-inch wheels, and there's lots of different wheel and tire options depending on which trim level you're looking at. There's the XRT for both models, which is going to be a little bit more off-road focused. So maybe you're into overlanding or getting out onto the mountain bike trails, stuff like that. That might be one to consider there. But overall, this design, like I said, this does add the third row. So if you're looking to bring the whole family along, the Santa Fe is definitely going to be a better option there. Now the Santa Fe will get a little bit higher raised roof rail up above, so you can throw the crossbars up there. Again, mountain bikes, the boats, anything you need to put up on the roof, it does give you a little bit more space. Now what's cool about this one, when they designed the vehicle, they actually wanted the rear hatch, which is a power liftgate on this model, to kind of give you an open feel. So they want you to use this vehicle to get out camping, get out to the outdoors. They want you to be able to be comfortable, have lots of space and convenience when you're doing that. So in the back, similar to that one, like I said, power liftgate, then you can fold that third row down. So it's going to be 2 seats in the back. This one does have the bench seat, the 3 in the middle, and then the 2 up front. So this would be a total of 7 passengers. So this one will also get the LED blinkers in the side mirrors here. You're also going to get keyless entry on both of these models. So you don't take the key out of your pocket or your purse, simply just tap the door handle and then you hop in. So let's jump over, we'll check out the Hyundai Tucson. Okay, so behind the wheel of the SEL, I'm holding my cell phone here because we do get wireless charging in this model, but this will also have Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. When the Hyundais get the navigation in the Tucson, it is a wired connection. So you're gonna have to plug your phone in to get the CarPlay, but when you do that, Google Maps, Spotify, text messaging, all that good stuff is built in, and it makes it very safe and convenient when you're on the road. Now, this convenience package does get the H-Tex, so that's what they call their kind of mock leather material in here. It wears really nicely. It's super easy to clean if you got the kiddos in the back and they maybe make a little bit of a mess back there, but I think it's really comfortable and it's going to be heated as well for the driver and the passenger. Now, this one also gets the leather wrap steering wheel shift knob combo, and this steering wheel is great. I love the size, I love the layout, all the buttons make it very easy once you figure out what's going on to again stay safe when you're on the road. Now, this has two 10.25-inch displays. One is going to be your infotainment for that CarPlay and your navigation. The other one is your digital gauge cluster. So you can use the little buttons on the steering wheel if you want, and that can go through and just kind of show you your pertinent information, can show you the compass in there, how the all-wheel drive system is working. It's pretty cool and does make it pretty convenient when you're on the go. Now, this also gets a host of safety features. Emergency braking, like I said, blind spot monitoring, there's a lane departure warning system, and my favorite one, the adaptive cruise control. So you set the distance to the vehicle ahead of you, and it's gonna keep that distance. If you're eating up a lot of highway miles or doing those cabin trips, that is one of my favorite features and definitely something that would be pretty hard to give back up. Now, this one with the infotainment screen, like I said, they've got the CarPlay. This one has the built-in navigation. It's really kind of straightforward, easy to use, and you can control it, and it's a very quick screen. Some of them can get a little slow and kind of pokey. This one I noticed is very fast and very easy. Now, you've also got the dual climate control down here, and then, like I said, the two USB-Cs and a little place for your phone. Now, one other thing that's pretty cool, there's a little camera button here. So when you click that, you can pull up the backup camera. You can look either straight back or you can look kind of straight down as like a hitch view. So that's a pretty cool, convenient feature. And then you just click it again and that will go away. So what about the second row? So again, this is just the 5-passenger, but in the back, you've got USB charging, you've got the vents back there, so everybody can be cool and comfortable, and those seats do recline. So if you're not folding them completely flat, you can kind of move them forward and back so the rear passengers are nice and comfortable. Now, one other thing up above, this one gets a sunroof. So that SEL Santa Fe that we have unfortunately doesn't get that sunroof, but that one would have the option for a panoramic roof. But in this model, or if you're looking up through the Tucson lineup, you can add the larger sunroof up above, which really does open it up, especially with the light interior. I do like that feature. So lots of safety, lots of convenience in here. I like the layout, and again, just a little bit better fuel economy maybe than the Santa Fe. And this one I did find is a little bit easier to park. It's a little bit of a smaller vehicle, so it's easier to kind of whip in and out of spots. And 99% of the time, if it's just you in the car, you got the kids back there, I think there's a lot of cargo space and a lot of fun and cool equipment in the Hyundai Tucson. Now let's talk about the price. So the MSRP on this one is about $35,800. So a little bit less than the Santa Fe. There is less equipment you can take out of these. You can add more equipment into these. The hybrid does get a little bit more expensive. So there's a lot of ways to configure these to hopefully kind of fit into your price range or your budget. Front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, the hybrid, a lot of different things can factor into that. But I'd say this one is pretty well loaded up for that $35,000 price range. But let's jump over, we'll check out the Santa Fe. Okay, so now in the SEL 2.5, again, I've got my phone. This is a completely different layout in the Santa Fe. This one's gonna have the NFC charger right here, so it's a wireless charger, and then instead of USBs, you're actually gonna get 2 USB-Cs here. So a little bit different that way, a little bit more maybe into the future with the USB-Cs, but there also is a 12-volt charger down below there, and a couple of USB chargers in the back of the driver and passenger seat for the rear passengers, which is pretty cool. Now, this particular one does get the wireless Apple CarPlay and a lot larger of a screen. Same kind of layout, but it's one connected screen here with a little bit of a split in the middle, but the CarPlay, again, lightning fast in here. So all my text messaging, Google Maps, I had the Spotify going, and the radio is a little bit more kind of crisp and clear, I think, in this model. So that is certainly something to consider if you find yourself to be more of an audiophile. Now, the steering wheel is really cool in this one. I like the layout of this one. I think maybe a little bit more than the Tucson. It's just kind of, again, a little bit more modernized, but same general layout. So the digital gauge cluster here, you can go through, see your trip information, some of that adaptive cruise control, and basically just the pertinent information that you need. And then you can also configure these dials to look a little bit differently. There is a drive mode select here that would change it, but you can also manually go through and change the layout of the gauges if you want to do that. Now, also on the infotainment screen here, it's a little bit different of a configuration. You can actually slide down to see some of the stuff. You can go into the setup to look through all of your vehicle settings, whether that's some of your safety stuff, the driver assistance, but same general thing. Emergency braking, the adaptive cruise control, all that good stuff is going to be housed in this vehicle. So it does make it very safe, obviously, if you and your family are going to be in the vehicle. Now, this one also gets a dual climate control, same as the Tucson, and this one has the H-Tex seating. So again, very similar to that Tucson model, and these are going to be heated for the driver and the passenger. Now, as far as the buttons are concerned down here, this one also gets that little camera button, so you can click that to pull up the camera, but a little bit different on this one, since the screen is a little bit bigger. There's actually a button you can press to go to the full screen, or you can just do that hitch view, or again, just the one behind you, so that's pretty cool. Again, very clear, easy to see, and this one gets the parking sensors. So front and rear, that would show you in the center cluster here what you're getting close to, and it's kind of an easy to use system. Now, one of the biggest differences here is storage space. So I found that the center console is really big, and then this has the shifter up here behind the steering wheel. So that actually frees up a huge cubby underneath the center console. So you can throw your purse in there, any stuff you're bringing with you. I really like that as a convenience feature. And then back to the shifter, it's really easy. You just click it forward for drive, back for reverse, and then you click it on the end for park, which is pretty convenient, and again, frees up lots of space. Now, both the SEL models that we have here today are going to have a remote start on the key fob. So when the vehicle's locked, you can fire it up. I think it runs for about 10 minutes, but it is really nice to get it nice and toasty or cool it off in the summertime. So that's a pretty cool feature that's going to come standard on both these models. Now, let's talk about the second and the third row. So like I said, the second row here is going to be the bench seating. So that's going to give you 3 across and then 2 in the back. The second row, you're going to have that USB charging, like I said. They've got vents back there, and you've got a lot of headroom. Even without the sunroof, I noticed at 6'1", I've got lots of space, but you can actually slide the second row forward and back. Those seats do recline, or again, they do fold down. But one thing that's pretty cool, there's a little button you can press on there. That's going to kick and slide the seat forward, so it makes it really easy to access the third row. Now, in the third row, there is a little climate control knob back there, and as well, it's pretty good. You know, this vehicle isn't the biggest one for as far as the third row SUVs might be concerned, but I mean, you could sit back there. The little kids are definitely gonna be more comfortable. It's a little tight maybe for 7 adults to be in here, but again, if you're going a short distance, I think it would be good for that. And then storage space in the back, you actually have a little bit under the floor, and you can fold that third row down really easily. So that's definitely a convenience feature. As you move through the lineup, there's also power folding seats. So it does make it pretty convenient if you got your hands full, or if you're going on those camping trips, just to fold the seats down, or like I said, throw stuff up on the roof. So what about the price? Now, this SEL with the all-wheel drive is going to come in right around $40,000 for the MSRP. So you can move up to the calligraphy, you can go down a trim level if you want it to be a little bit less, or again, the H-Track, which is the all-wheel drive, or the front-wheel drive model. So there's lots of ways to configure both the Tucson and the Santa Fe. I think if you've got a larger growing family, maybe the Santa Fe might make a little bit more sense, but if it's just you in the car, you want the better fuel economy, you want a little bit easier vehicle to park, the Tucson definitely delivers on that front. I think the equipment and technology is a little bit more maybe advanced in this model. There's a little bit more storage space in here, but again, this one is more expensive. So at about a $5,000 difference, there really is some stuff to be found in both models that's really good and really maybe might not work as good for you. So the best thing to do is get out, take both of them for a spin and see what you think. Now, that was just a quick look at the Tucson and the Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks for watching.